I'm Chris.
And I'm Kylie. And this is Redefining Resilience,
where we explore what it means to build a resilient lifestyle
so you can thrive in any and every situation.
What are we talking about today? Confidence.
Yes. Speaking of confidence.
I lack it.
No, I don't think so.
Yuck.
I am super confident in all the changes we're making to this podcast.
Super confident in them.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
I am pumped. Just for everybody listening.
Teaser.
Yeah, this is the official teaser. We are putting a little refresh on Redefining Resilience. And just so you know, it might not be redefining resilience for too much longer. We are evolving. And with this evolution comes a new name. And we are really going to be even more disruptive than I think we already are.
Hell yeah.
We're going to ruffle some feathers, probably.
I do love ruffling feathers.
I know you do.
I just left a hour-and-a-half long conversation with ChatGPT ruffling feathers. So I am pumped.
Yeah, somebody hit one of your buttons and set you on fire, but we won't go into that today. I'm really excited because this show is going to be even more entertaining. It's going to have more juicy parts to it. Our show flow, which is essentially the different components of our show, is going to be brand new. It's going to have a lot of really cool interactive elements to it. So I'm pumped. We're working with a company here in Indy called Share Your Genius.
They're incredible.
They are amazing. I've worked with them before in the past, and I'm really excited to be working with them again. And it's just a beautiful partnership. They have some of the most creative minds that I think we could be working with, and they have really laid out a plan that's going to take us to the next level. So
yeah, they were incredible. I didn't know what to expect, and the first 5 minutes in, I was like, this is awesome.
They revealed the title to us, and I think my jaw dropped. I'm like, oh my gosh, they get it.
I passed out.
Chris blacked out for the rest of the meeting.
I did.
Yeah.
I just stared at the screen blankly.
He just had to catch up with the notes that were sent afterwards.
I did.
That's how he found out about the changes. Anyway, it's going to be awesome. More to come, but we wanted to give you a little bit of a teaser. In the meantime, we'll keep talking about it as episodes get published, but we should have the new changes rolled out here in the next month or so. So,
yep.
Pretty exciting stuff.
Yahoo. Fun and games. Literally.
All right.
Fun and games.
Yes, this is fun. So, we're talking about confidence today.
Yes. We are.
What do you think about confidence?
I think it's our belief in ourselves. And our abilities.
I also think it can be confidence in our inabilities, too. Knowing where your strengths and your limitations are.
Yeah.
I think helps you become more confident.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think I can figure most things out. I'm pretty confident in my ability to figure things out. I'm also confident in my lack of desire to go down certain rabbit holes. I do not want to figure certain things out because I just don't care.
Right.
I don't want to learn how to redo the plumbing in our house. Nope, no desire. Absolutely no desire.
No.
Is it cool to know? Yeah. Do I want to do it? No.
I think confidence is situational as well. You can be a confident person, but maybe in a specific area you're not confident, and that's okay.
Yeah. I think if you're confident in 100% of things, you're a narcissist. Well, you're just absolutely not in touch with reality. Nobody's awesome at everything.
But here's what's interesting, because we were talking about this the other day. When it comes to kids and their grades at school,
Yeah.
Let's think about how our confidence has been shaped over time. You are a kid, right? And you're confident in everything. Mm-hmm. I was pretty confident that I could fly when I was little. And I jumped from one picnic table to another picnic table and found out I could not fly.
Yes.
And I ended up with stitches in my head. And then I was also very confident that I was a mermaid. And I could do all sorts of like aquatic jumps and tricks and stuff. And I dove into the shallow end of a pool and hit my head. And again, stitches in the head. So I gradually learned over time that, okay, I guess I'm not superhuman, right? So I guess I'm limited to the things that humans can do.
Like most humans.
Yeah. That was a tough time. And then, fast forward, I distinctly remember in 3rd grade learning about grades and what grades were. And I made it my mission to be a perfect student. But going back to what we said at the beginning of this conversation, it's not realistic for you to be good at all things. But yet we condition children in school that you need to get good grades in all classes, right? Even though you're not going to go to college and you're not going to major in all the subjects. You're only going to major in like 1, maybe 2 subjects. And then when you go into your career, you're not going to be good at all of the things. I mean, unless you decide to start a business and then you have to figure all the things out. But
that doesn't mean you're great at all of them.
No, absolutely not. So we have to go back to some of the conditioning that we have been given and really reflect on how that's impacted our confidence. Because I remember getting a B and it like rocked my world. Here I was striving for perfection.
I think that's it. I think that the first introduction to your lack of ability to be perfect is groundbreakingly awful.
Yeah.
It is shocking.
And I should mention, I got a B in a weighted class, so technically it was an A. But just having a B on my report card was traumatizing.
Yeah.
Mostly to my confidence.
Yeah. One of my buddies in high school, our junior year, goes, "Hey, man, my report card spells FTA."
Needless to say, don't think he was getting any awards or honor roll.
No. But you're right, though. Like, what does that life-shattering moment, how does that affect your confidence? And how do we handle that, 1 as parents and 2 as humans? Like, how do we handle somebody else's failure? How do we treat them because of it? And how does other people's treatment of us affect our confidence level?
Well, and I coach people of all ages. So I have a few 17-year-olds that I coach who are senior year. They're figuring out where they're going to go to college. Every test to them is like do or die. Like they think, truly, they believe, and they work themselves up from an anxiety standpoint. And they think that if they don't get an A on this math test, they're not getting into college. The recruiters admissions is going to look at this. They're going to see that they had a 4.0 GPA until this one test. And I mean, literally, that's where their brains go because we've conditioned kids to believe they have to be good at everything, even though that's not realistic in the real world, in adult life. You figure out your specialization and then you focus on the things that you're good at. That doesn't mean we neglect the things that we're not good at, but we choose a profession, ideally, that aligns with our strengths and our interests.
I think that's where it got really confusing for me as a kid is I always thought, man, they've got like 4 or 5 dudes and ladies in my classes that they have all A's straight through. Like, man, I fucking hate math. Like, I really hate it. Like, the minute I can never take a math class again, like, I am opting in, man. But they had all A's and everything, but also most of those people were stressed out to the max. And like, you're not enjoying any of this.
Yep.
You're not very happy, and you're constantly buried in books, which is cool, like a data accumulation stage in life. Like, you need to do that to a point, but also like without any kind of understanding of how they were living their life. Like, I didn't know much about them. They just looked fucking miserable. Like, they were always upset about stuff. They were always stressed out. They were always worried about where they were going and how they were going to get there. And I don't really look back on my time in high school with these people and think that they were fun to be around. They didn't really enjoy it. And they've probably gotten to a great college. But if you keep that same mentality all the way through college, did you enjoy college at all? Like, good luck being a perfect student all the way through. Like, at what point in time do you learn that real life exists?
Well,
and you're not great at everything.
That was college for me, because I realized, like, hey, socializing is more fun than burying my face in books and spending all my time studying. Yeah. And so I finally let loose in college. And I mean, I still graduated with, I think, like a 3.4 GPA. So I got all A's and B's, 1 C in accounting. I will never forget accounting 100.
But I mean, you had to shift your mindset from, I need to be perfect because this is the only way I'm going to make it, which is literally like all or nothing.
Well, and I think back to, like, accounting, even though I joke and I say accounting 100 was my demise, I still to this day struggle comprehending finances. And for me, it's like this blind spot for me that I'm not confident in. But the cool thing was I got to fire myself as CFO as soon as I could, and I promoted you to CFO as soon as I could.
Yeah,
because
the
I
guy
knew.
Who said he hates math.
Yeah, the guy who ironically, I minored in math. So one would think I would have been good at it. It's not real math.
It's not real math.
It's not real math. It's fake math with weird sheets of things.
But going back to the confidence out of this, it is hard to hear somebody being disciplined for a bad grade. It is an interesting concept for me. And I would always think when I was a kid, of course I would get in trouble if I had bad grades, but it's like, man, maybe I just really hate math. Maybe I'm just not good at it. If I'm not good at it, am I a shitty person?
No.
Like, does this make me a horrible person? And like you were saying when we had this conversation earlier, what does that teach the child about failure?
That is not okay. Which is a problem because it's a necessary part of learning. I tell the teens that I coach, I tell them all the time, go in interested to learn what you need to learn, because all a test is doing is telling you what you still need to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, one of my teens is taking the SATs next week. And I told her, I was like, you can take it multiple times. So don't stress. Just go in and figure out what you need to learn.
Yeah. This is data.
It's just information. And when you think about failure as data and information, take all your emotions out of it, because it doesn't mean you suck. It doesn't mean you're not good at something. Everybody typically, I would say 80% of the time, is going to be bad at something at the first crack. But once you start trying over and over and over and over again, and you get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, you start to see some traction and you start to see some progress. And when we look for the progress, instead of focusing on what's not perfect, we actually start to feel good about our efforts and feel like they're worthwhile. But if we focus on what's not working perfectly, you're never going to want to keep trying.
So here's a really cool analogy about perfection. I actually forgot about it until I was meeting with a buddy of mine, good old Will Yank.
Oh, yeah.
Go back hashtag coolest guy ever.
Yeah, go back to that podcast episode where we interviewed Will Yank about his 4-time victory against leukemia.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
So we were sitting there talking, and he's kind of got the analysis paralysis on a few things. And he goes, I just want it to be perfect. And I said, it just popped into my head. I mean, I grew up as a bomber pilot's child. I was on Air Force bases all the time, and for the majority of my life. And fighter pilots make decisions based on the 80% rule. They're going Mach however fast through the air, hundreds of miles an hour, with missiles and bombs and trying to catch another airplane while they're doing it, or a target or whatever. The analogy or the rule they use is I think about the problem up to 80% and then I act. I don't have time to operate at 100% because I will miss the target or get killed if I try to find the other 20%.
Yep.
Meaning, if you're hitting at 80s, you're doing pretty fucking good, man. Yeah. Like, if we can hit 80s all the way through life, 80% make a decision, 80% make a decision, you're doing really good, because it's not like that 20% accumulates to where next decision you're at 40, next decision you're at 60. That doesn't happen. It's literally like pulling a lever at a slot machine in a casino. Every time you put a penny in, it's 1 out of 1,000,000. Every decision you make, if we can get 80% of the way there, and we can say, I'm 80% sure of the process I'm going through, I'm going to act.
Yeah. You
only have a 20% failure rate. And what's really cool is you limit your failure rate every time you revisit the same problem.
Yeah.
Because as long as you're learning, you can be at 81%, 82% next time, and your failure rate goes down because you just have more knowledge. I think that analogy is fantastic. So when I get analysis paralysis, I'm like, man, am I at 80%? Yeah, fucking pull the trigger. Like, let's move on, man.
Yeah.
And I'll get some blowback if something happens in that 20%. Cool, because next time I'll be at 90.
Well, and then I think you have to ask yourself, what's the worst case scenario here?
Yeah.
So if, let's say, we're crafting an email to prospects for some sales outreach, what's the risk, right? Like, if we can get this email 80% great, there's a 20% risk. But also, what's the worst that's going to happen? Somebody unsubscribes. Okay. It's pretty inconsequential to the grand scheme of things. Like, I'm not going to be crying myself to sleep if you unsubscribe from my newsletter. I just don't care. You're not that important.
No, I expect it.
Yeah. It's part of the process.
Yeah.
Because then we figure out, okay, who are we actually talking to in this newsletter? It wasn't that person, which is okay, right?
Yeah. I think that's going to be the coolest part of this disruptive podcast when we change things around, as we're going to find out who wants to be a part of this.
Yep.
Which I am super pumped about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the other thing here is the more times you do something, the higher your confidence gets.
Yeah.
Right? Like, go back to you weightlifting at age 15.
Yeah. I had no idea what I was doing.
Exactly.
I was very timid in the gym for years. 10 plus years. I was timid in the gym.
Well, and now, I mean, I feel like you could coach the most elite weightlifters out there because you have mastered the form, the technique, the cues, the angles, the science, like how the body performs, the efficiency factor in it. I mean, you know what's going on to such a deep degree that your confidence now, I mean, you've gone toe to toe with some doctors before.
Yeah. But it's all just based on, just like your sales coaching, failure after failure after failure after failure.
Yeah.
How many times do I have to fail a squat? How many times do I have to fail in cold calling? And how much data do I have to collect before I start getting good at it? I think I have squatted a barbell 1,000,000 times. 1,000,000 times. Easily. We're talking age 14 to 39 and competitive actions in between. 100% we're over 1,000,000.
Yeah.
That means you have to do something over 1,000,000 times before you're like, listen, bud, I think I understand this. Like, I'll argue with the best, or not argue, but communicate with the best, because I know that thing. I've done it so many times. just like sales with you, just like business development with you. We went on a meeting the other day and it was just fucking buttery smooth with you because you've just done it so many times. And I think that's where the real diamonds are with confidence. The stuff that is just changes the game is repetition, acceptance of failure, and understanding that this is a time-based thing. This isn't a data-based thing. You can have as much data as you want, but if you've not put the time in, you just don't have the confidence because you don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah. And I think the other thing to remember, I don't even know where I learned this. It might have been in grad school, but I took this course on adult learning and we talked about the 4 stages of learning, and knowing that was extremely helpful because it puts things in great perspective for you. So when you think about learning something, the first stage is unconscious incompetence, which is really, I'm not aware of what I don't know. I don't know what I don't know, right? So let's say somebody who has never weightlifted before, they're just not going to know how to do anything, right? They don't know that a squat exists. They don't know what a deadlift is. And then let's say they become aware, all right, my doctor told me I need to exercise. So I think I should try weightlifting. Okay, let me look into it. Oh gosh, there's all these movements that I don't know how to do. Now it's conscious incompetence. I'm aware that this skill exists, but I am very incompetent at it. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And it requires conscious effort for me to learn and do these movements. So as I'm stepping up to a barbell to deadlift, I'm going to have to get told, hey, lower your butt, sink your hips, bend your knees, put your feet further apart, point your toes straight, point them out a little bit further. Like, you're going to have to be consciously aware of your form, of where your body is, because you have no idea what this is supposed to feel like, right?
Yeah, you don't know where your body is in space and time.
Yeah. Now we move into, okay, I've been doing this for about 6 months now, let's say. I've been deadlifting with Chris once a week consistently, and I've got about 24 deadlifts under my belt now, like 24 sessions of doing deadlifts, okay? Now I'm at conscious competence, where I'm aware of what's going on. I'm competent. I'm doing it correctly. It still takes some decent amount of energy. I may need you to tell me, this cue or that cue, or straighten my back, or pinch my bat wings together and put my chest up. Like, there could be some additional cues that I might need every once in a while, but for the most part, I'm pretty competent. It requires some extra effort along the way, but we're well on our way to being proficient. And proficiency really is unconscious competence, where you're at, Chris, with all of your movements. It's like, the cues. You don't really need any adjustments. You are looking at your own videos. You're critiquing your own form, but if it feels good. You have the muscle memory built into your system now at this point, and you don't really have to consciously think about it. You can put your headphones in, you can put on your rage angry music, and you can just go to town.
Yeah. So those stages are fantastic, and they remind me of when I built my first website.
Oh, yeah.
The phrase, click the button that's not a button, would make me go ballistic. I would call Squarespace. Squarespace is great. I'm not shitting on them at all. I just don't have, I'm not I don't do that.
It's not your jam.
I'm not a coder. I don't fucking understand anything about it. I literally heard about Squarespace on Joe Rogan and got a Joe Rogan discount and jumped right in and thought, I can do this. I couldn't. I called them daily. I'm like, I don't understand this. I don't know what's going on. Where is the button? How do I do this? And they'd say, well, you just hover your mouse over this thing. And you learn that there's probably 50 buttons that aren't buttons that are just like hidden little Easter eggs inside of the collective framework of building a website, that if, like we talked to Amanda, she does it without even looking at it. Her mouse probably goes straight to it, clicks it, moves on, and blows through it.
Yeah. Shout out to Amanda if you want to go back to her episode on tapping into creativity.
She's exceptional.
Yes.
So the website she built for us is unbelievable.
www.odysseyresilience.org. Go check it out. Not when you're driving and not while you're listening to this podcast. Do it later.
Yes. But because she's so proficient at it and she's done it so many times and failed so many times, she's excellent. But the unconscious competence, what was the first one? Is that it?
Unconscious incompetence.
Yes, that was me, man.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't even know what questions to ask. I literally didn't know what buttons to push. I was just staring at the screen. I got a couple pictures on there, and I'm like, well, now what?
You know what's so funny? Okay, so this is just a very great example. I didn't even attempt to build a website. I attempted to pay somebody $500 to build one, and it was like,
nope.
No, it was not great. B for effort, though.
B for effort.
As a side hustle. So then I was like, all right, that's not going to work. I need to invest in this further. And at no point in time was the answer me doing it myself. Like, my confidence in developing a website was like a 0% chance of happening. And so it's interesting, as we're talking about confidence, you at least had the confidence to try. I was immediately like, who can I find to do this for me? And then when I found Amanda and she did my first website, I was like, oh, praise Jesus. Like, she's a little angel on earth and like totally knocked this out of the park. And then when we needed our Odyssey website done, you had, I think, been building your other website for, I think it was over a month.
I think I spent 6 months on that thing.
I think you spent
it was far too long.
Yeah, an entire lifetime.
Yeah, it felt like it.
A goldfish was birthed and died in that whole time.
Yes. It's a weird analogy. Yes.
I don't know. Do fish have a long lifespan? It just was
goldfish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Scratch that then.
One of my children's goldfish definitely would have lived and died in 3 months.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. You were working on it for a long time, and I feel like your determination was so high to figure that out. I just didn't even attempt it because I knew that was not going to be something that was in my wheelhouse. I had the awareness, and you were just really excited to figure it out. And you've always had this mindset of, I want to know how everything in the business works, which at the end of the day, I think has been great, because now as we need small adjustments to our website here and there, you're able to tackle it. And it's, I would say it's probably more of a conscious competence where you're aware of how to do it. You may not have the fastest path to get there, but you can pretty swiftly make the changes and make the adjustments that are needed. And it doesn't take you as long as it did before. No,
we've adjusted quite a bit on there.
Yeah.
And it at least matches the template. No, I think that those phases are fantastic, though. They explain a lot of your confidence level.
Yeah.
How do you go from not even knowing what you don't know to understanding that you don't know it? You're in control of your surroundings, and you can then manipulate them. Well, I think that's when you take off, is when you understand enough about the information that you can stop in the middle, go backwards 3 steps, and continue to explain it. You just know what you're looking at. You understand it backwards and forwards.
Yeah, and I think if you were to think back to like any new job you've ever started, you go through those stages. Mm-hmm. You have no idea what you're walking into day one when you start a new job.
Yeah.
And then you get through onboarding and you're like, holy shit, I've got a lot to learn. This is overwhelming. I'm drinking from a fire hose, right? Which is your conscious incompetence. And then you start to like learn the systems. Oh, I've used Outlook before. Oh, I've used this system before. I've used Salesforce before, but this is configured a little differently. So that might take me an adjustment. You move into that conscious competence, and then eventually you get so proficient where it's unconscious that you have competence, right? So I think just keeping those stages in mind, and when you're feeling frustrated, just realize like, okay, I'm in a conscious competence stage. And so it's going to, if it's conscious, it's going to take some effort, right? The conscious incompetence and conscious competence stages are probably the most difficult because they require all your effort.
Yeah.
Everything's very blissful when you're living in the unconscious world, whether you're incompetent unconsciously because you don't know what you don't know, so it's not keeping you up at night.
Well, you got to earn it. Right?
Yeah, or you become proficient at something and it's just second nature for you now.
Yeah, I think that a lot of doors open up once you reach that unconscious competence stage because you can then pile on more information. You can't progress if you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
So once you understand what you're doing, you understand the ifs, ands, and buts and the surroundings, the inside and out of the whole situation, it's a lot easier to then say, okay, how can I apply things utilizing this information? How can I bring more things in? I feel like I'm a firm believer you have to earn the doors to be opened. I don't like this. If I float through life and pray about it or wish it enough, doors will open to me. No, doors are open because you're working hard.
Yeah.
Doors are open because you understand what you're doing and you're competent at it.
Yeah.
Doors open because you fucking earn them.
Yeah.
That's it. They're not brought down to you. You build the stairs to them.
Yep. Yeah. And I think if you can just keep in mind that learning curve exists, right? And when you're in the thick of it, don't get discouraged. Just understand this is the part of the journey. And eventually it's going to lead to a place of confidence and competence, right? That's what this growth journey is all about. And the cool thing is that you never get to a place where you've mastered anything. I think it all just continues to repeat itself because there's always new ways to continue to level up. You're finding new ways to level up in the gym all the time.
All the time.
Even though you've been doing this for 20 plus years.
Yeah. I will constantly reframe and refresh till I die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck out there.
Yeah. Just don't let misunderstanding douse your confidence.
Yeah.
Those pre-stages before unconscious competence, that's not there to ruin your day. You just need to understand where you are.
Yeah, totally.
Boom.
Thanks for listening to Redefining Resilience.
To learn more about building your mental and physical readiness, check out odysseyresilience.org.
And follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok.